troop of geeks. Let's do this. This time we're recording properly. And yeah, we'd like to welcome back Jessie Nucci Cosplay, who has now been to see the film twice.
Yep, and I have my little cup as well, my Black Widow cup, drinking a massive batch of coffee out of, but yeah.
Perfect. And yeah, let's say it's been a week and a half now the film's been out, and it's still not out in America yet, is it?
It was out yesterday, I think. Yesterday or the day before, because I've seen some American sites that are creeping up with the reviews now, and a lot of like my American followers are saying like, "Oh, we've just seen it." So yeah.
Oh, that's good. So we can officially now talk about it.
Yes.
Because America's seen it. That's one thing before we probably get started is, why do we always get the early releases?
I was actually just thinking that. I don't know. Yeah, no idea. Because, you'd think Disney, Marvel, it's all American. They would get it beforehand. I'm guessing they're just being nice. But I'd like to think that anyway.
Because Captain America Winter Soldier was the same, wasn't it? It was released here. And I watched it here, and then I flew out to America like 2 days after I watched the premiere here. And I thought I'll watch it again out there, and it wasn't out. I had to wait a week.
Oh, really?
Again over there, yeah. So it seems to be a thing.
Yeah, because they get things like months before we get them. Like with certain films, anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's really strange. I guess we're just lucky.
They just like us, but yeah. So anyway, let's talk Age of Ultron. And as a very rounded quote, I loved it. I thought it was a brilliant film. I enjoyed every minute of it. As an action film, comedy, everything that needed to be in there, I thought was in there.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you say, I think if we didn't have the superhero genre, it would definitely be action related. I really liked it. I liked the fact that it wasn't just a rehash of the original. I like the fact that they didn't have people like Loki in it, like the same sort of vibing formula. It was a lot more serious, definitely more dark, like a lot more darker, which is how the comic is. So I think they did a good job considering, because Age of Ultron is like a massive story arc.
Hang on,
it's ambitious.
We've dug it out.
Oh, see.
I thought I'd better keep that to hand in case the comic gets mentioned. But
yeah, definitely. I really loved it. Like even seeing it last night, I think I understood it a lot more because I don't know if I told you, like when I saw it on the first night, I was dressed in cosplay as Scarlet Witch. I also we accidentally booked tickets for like pretty much the front row, not the back. I booked my tickets at 5 a.m, mind you. So accidentally got to watch it on the front row, and so you're doing this, you're like craning your neck back completely, just trying to see what's going on. And yesterday, I got to sit at the back, and it was fine. And I think it's really good. I really liked it.
Yeah, definitely. I think they've done well. There's obviously been such a big build up to this film. It's like the last 6 months they've just been releasing the little clips going out, and you're like, I need to see this film, and it come out, and it was worth it. It lived up to the hype. I thought there's pros and cons.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, but
like with
like whatever film Marvel do, they were never going to do it right. They will always get people like us saying they could have done that. Yeah. And then if they'd have done that, then we'd be there going, they should have done this. And
I've seen like a lot of people, nitpicking online, and I just think at the end of the day, it's not the comic book. It's a film, and you have to accommodate to that. Yeah, there was definitely elements that I wasn't happy about. But I think overall they did it, they definitely did it justice. I liked the fact that the Maximoff twins actually had a bit, they actually had like a relevant storyline. They weren't just sort of like added in there, as like henchmen. They had, they actually had something to say. And like, to me, Scarlet Witch just like, she stole it for me.
Absolutely. She was, well, as we've said before, she was the villain of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, definitely.
She wasn't meant to be the villain of the film. Well, she was, but the whole this is what I said about the build up to it. How I thought it was. The build up was all Age of Ultron. It's all Ultron's going to destroy the Avengers. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. But it's like anything, when you look back at it. Sorry, my camera keeps freezing if anyone's watching this. But as you look back at it, you realise he couldn't have done anything without those two.
Yeah.
The maximum they run the show.
And, totally.
And then when they decided they thought, actually, no, we don't want to hang out of Ultron anymore. Then they completely changed the story because the Avengers were struggling to handle them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Scarlet Witch, she could rule the Marvel universe, and she kind of does. I mean, if you look at comic books like House of M, she tears it apart, because of what she can do. Her powers are. There's never been anyone like that in the Marvel universe. So I think they did a really good interpretation of her. I really liked her costume, especially at the end. I like the fact that it was simple. It had hints of like red in it. It wasn't, because I mean, as much as I love Scarlet Witch, I have never liked her costume. I just think the head thing is too much, and I like the fact that they kind of made it a lot more realistic. And I am just obsessed with her costume at the end of the film. When you actually see the Scarlet Witch costume, I am like, I have to cosplay that in the future.
So when he brings the jacket out for her, doesn't he? He's like, he gives her the jacket.
It's really, it's a big moment. And the only, I kind of wish that Quicksilver had a bit more to say, but I think that
I'm glad he didn't. With that accent he was doing, I'm glad he didn't have as much to say, because I would have. Everyone said he's Borat. It's a Borat accent.
He is Borat. Yeah, I mean the thing is as well. Like I like the first Kick-Ass film. I didn't like the second, and I hate the Kick-Ass comic. Sorry guys, I really don't like.
I don't like Kick-Ass comics.
I don't like it. I just, I know everyone's gonna hate me, but I just couldn't get into it. But I think, I don't think is it Aaron Taylor Johnson? Can't remember.
Taylor Tyler, isn't it?
Yeah, he's. I remember when he was doing like the first Kick-Ass film, he said that he couldn't do an American accent. So accents are really a big thing for him. He can't. He finds it very difficult to do. I mean, his accent was terrible, so terrible. Like, because it would sound American in parts, and then it would go into like this Borat voice.
And you could see, you could almost see it in his acting how he was he just wasn't comfortable.
Yeah, no, because he was pulling like I think. I've actually seen like a lot of voice actors say this, that like, when they're trying to put on an accent, they have to almost kind of put, like faces on in order to get there. And like, you could tell that he was like that. He was almost like questioning how this was going to sound. And I thought it was terrible.
He's definitely buffed up for the role though, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's a unit now.
Yeah. He's huge. Yeah. I really love, like I said, I love Elizabeth Olsen. She can do no wrong. But I thought she was really good. I like the fact that, she definitely had like the grittiness, and she kind of, I actually didn't mind her accent. I thought it was okay, but
she wasn't too bad. In all fairness, Quicksilver wasn't too bad because he didn't have much to say. So he was quite funny in it. You could see he was a bit playful. The way he was like fighting the Avengers, he was doing it like Quicksilver would, sort of very playfully. In the bit when he grabs hold of Thor's hammer, I thought was just brilliant. It's just the look on his face. He nailed that bit absolutely down to a T.
Yeah.
And then the little thing when he sort of goes back and calculates, you didn't see that coming, did you? And just those little sort of quips between them. The characters were introduced well, I think.
Yeah, definitely, because when you think about, like, obviously Days of Future Past, it's an entirely different one. They almost they needed to separate them. Because, I mean, if you look at, like, most people who are going to go see the Avengers, although there's a lot of like fans of the comics and of Marvel, they'll be like the casual watchers, and they'll be thinking like, I'm really confused because he was in X-Men. I think it's a good thing that he didn't have like a massive role in it, because in Days of Future Past he stole it. He made it was hilarious, and because I'm bringing him along to Apocalypse, I think, which is out next year. I think that they needed to give this one a separate role. They needed to divide them, so that show a bit of
people who don't watch them. People who just watch the films and don't read the comics, they just enjoy the MCU and think that's all they want to know about. I don't think many people are really going to put those two together.
No,
I'm jumping around again.
I guess not. Yeah, I mean, I think they don't look the same, because I remember when Days of Future Past came out, I was like, oh my god, what have they done to him? What have they done to like his look? It's awful. And then I saw like the Avengers version. I was like, yes, this is how he should look.
But in either both the films, they don't. I'm just trying to think now, because I might be wrong on this. So please correct me if I'm wrong. They don't actually call him Quicksilver. They don't name him. So no one who's seen the films, or sorry, people who just watch the films and not read, they're not going to know that's Quicksilver.
No, unless I can't remember, because it's been ages since I've seen Days of Future Past. I don't know if they call him. Do they call him Pietro in that one? In Days of Pietro Maximoff, or I don't know.
I can't remember them naming him. I really can't. I can't remember them saying Quicksilver in it, which is they definitely don't in Age of Ultron. They don't. No, they don't name either of them. They are just the Maximoff twins.
Yeah.
And
Wonder Pietro. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But they don't actually use their as you call it, their Avenger names.
No.
Which is probably good. Everyone knows. Obviously, everyone who's in the know knows who they are. But if not, everyone just thinks, they're just these two twins. One's really quick, and I'm trying to think of how Black Widow described him. When she was
I know.
One's really quick.
I know that.
One's crazy, or
she's it was Maria Hill actually. It was he's fast and she's weird.
That's it. Fast and weird. Yeah, I knew it was too well. I thought, that pretty much sums it up.
That's someone else though that I would quite like to talk about, because yesterday when I saw the film, I think I didn't really like the way that they interpreted Maria Hill in Avengers, because she seemed she's quite a cold character. She's very, very businesslike, and in the first film, she seemed a bit more, I want to save the world and all of that. She's a lot colder. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how she gets introduced into Civil War, because she's kind of one of the main characters in that. So yeah, I don't know. I think she was just a lot better in this film. She had a bigger role, but I thought that they kind of knocked it on the head with her this time. But I mean, that's another thing when you look at even the secondary characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because you've got Falcon, who's just been introduced. Yeah. Where the hell was Pepper? Where is Jane? Yeah. Where I like the fact that they did make a joke out of it, but they do need it, because it makes it seem so much bigger than it actually is.
Yeah, well, we had a bit of an online Oh, hang on. Sorry.
It's fine.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to have to extend my computer sleep time, I think. Yeah, I had an online debate with someone the other day. Obviously, he didn't know who I was or anything. He was commenting on someone's feed. And we're talking about Pepper. Because someone was saying, what happened to Pepper, end of Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
What's going on? And he was like, no, it said, Tony Stark said, she's fixed. And so I was like, yeah, but no one's seen her since.
No.
And fixed doesn't necessarily mean cured.
Mm-hmm.
Fixed is, you can interpret fixed. It could have, you could have contained it. So she's not going to blow up and kill everyone, but she could still have these powers. Mm-hmm. It's not, in the sort of cinematic universe, it's not really been explained as to what is going on with Pepper. And then she obviously wasn't then in Age of Ultron. Mm. And so I just wonder what if anything.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where they're going to have to, she's going to have to be in Civil War.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to continue with the Iron Man films, not for a while anyway.
No.
Which is why I think they need to explain it. I think with this film, as I was saying previously, I feel as if the leading up, the movies which led up to the original Avengers was really well done, because it seemed like there was holes particularly or anything like that. It was all very much, it felt as if it was chronologically correct. But this time it seemed like they had a lot of things left, unanswered, like Pepper, like Jane. Yeah. Even with Thor: The Dark World, they've actually just revealed as well yesterday that Heimdall and Loki was supposed to be in Age of Ultron, but they cut out because it was getting a bit too much. Joss Whedon said that they did film something, but it didn't work, so they cut out that bit and they just had Heimdall.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. When you look at Thor: The Dark World, well, what's happened to Odin, and is Loki just pretending to be him now? What's going on? So it's interesting, and obviously they will probably explain it a bit more in the future. But yeah, I kind of, with this one, it didn't seem to have the right flow that the first phase did. Phase 2 seems to have a lot of different things going on, and they kind of almost can't keep up with it because it's just too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But also, I suppose, it's only a 2-hour film. They had to cover the story of Ultron. They couldn't really answer everything. So I suppose they done what they could, really, didn't they? We'll let them off a little bit for that.
Yeah, I'll let it slip this time. But,
just this time.
This time, and then next
Marvel
time
sort your act out for Civil War. We want answers.
Exactly, I do want answers. Civil War's it's one of my favourite comic book arcs of all time. So I have a lot of expectations.
I'm rereading all the. I've got all them down here as well. All the Civil War and in Frontline as well. I've got them.
Very nice.
So I'm rereading, prepping myself, because I read so much I forget what I read.
Yeah.
You read it, then you think, what's happened then? You literally have to go back. Mm-hmm. And there's too many stories in my head to keep track of it all.
There is, yeah. There's so much. I mean, my boyfriend, he's quite geeky, but he's not like me. He won't read tons. Well, he's read a few comics, and I'm trying to get him into Iron Man because people always say that he looks like Tony Stark. Right. So he
I've never seen him, so I'm going to take your word on it.
You need to.
Is it creepy to say, can you send me some photos of your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
No. Yeah. He's on most of my. If I'm ever doing Black Widow, he He's usually in the pictures with me.
Right.
I think that there are a few on my cosplay page of me and him, but not too much because he's not a cosplayer, but he will. He has like a T-shirt which has like a little arc reactor on, and like he'll do his facial hair like Robert Downey Jr. From time to time. Very recently, he actually wore a suit to a convention to be Tony Stark when I was doing Gamora. So like he makes the effort. He knows that I really like doing it, but he's just sort of getting into the Iron Man comics at the moment. And I've said to him like, well, I mean, if Civil War's coming out, you need to read that because it's fantastic. It's so good. And I mean, it's got everyone in it. It affects everyone. And, this is why I'm so excited about, I know we need to talk about Age of Ultron,
yes,
but
we've got to stop getting sidetracked on the Civil War. We've seen Age of Ultron now. We're like, yeah, we've watched that. We'll put that to one side.
I know, yeah.
Civil War. But yeah, we've got to stay on Age of Ultron.
But yeah, as I was saying, just very quickly, it's interesting just because, Spider-Man's going to now be in Civil War and where he's going to fit into it. And,
it's going to be an interesting one. That is definitely one I'm, out of all of them, looking forward. That's next year. No, Civil War's 2018.
No, that's Infinity War.
No, that's Infinity War. Sorry, there's so many coming out. No, it must be next year then. Civil War, isn't it?
Yeah, it's next year. Mm-hmm. They need to get on with casting of Spider-Man. They need to, definitely.
Because in that, I know, just on the internet, all the chats, everyone's saying you've got to do Miles Morales. That to me won't work. I think that's they can't. They need to keep it as Peter Parker.
Yeah.
If they want to then go off to Miles Morales or anything from there, but they need to get Peter Parker in Civil War.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be so confusing. This is why I don't actually think that they should even bother doing a recast, because I mean, everyone goes on about like Andrew Garfield's like the hipster Peter Parker, but I thought he was pretty good. Yeah. It's really weird though because he looks exactly like my brother, so it's a bit like when I'm watching it, I'm thinking, why Oliver? But yeah, I think I know that they're not going to do an origin story, and I think with Miles Morales, they need to have that in there.
Yeah, they can't
it's
just chuck in a black Spider-Man.
It's too confusing otherwise.
Yeah, because the people who don't read the comics, they're just going to see a black Spider-Man and think, why is there a black Spider-Man? It's just... It's
and we already...
Yeah, it's going to...
We've already seen the uproar with Fantastic Four. Yes. How that's been changed.
Yeah, Johnny Storm is now black.
I just think at the end of the day, what day and age do we live in? Okay, we're past that. Okay, I just don't. I think for this, it doesn't work. It needs to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Personally, but they'll do what they want at the end of the day. So.
Exactly. Yeah. But but back to Age of Ultron.
Yeah. Back to Age of Ultron.
Ultron, like I spoke about before, my one quip with it is Ultron himself, who I wasn't the first Ultron when he come out in like the beat up Iron Man suit. I loved that. I thought that was scary. It was creepy. It was, he was great. But then the more he upgraded himself, he just didn't. He didn't look like he looked like a human. His mouth was too.
Yeah.
He's talking and he was moving like human. He wasn't made of metal, but he's obviously made of metal. And they had him too lifelike and too CGI'd, I think.
No.
Yeah, that's my only letdown of Ultron.
When I was watching it, when I was watching it last night, I thought even the trailer, because you only see the Iron Man version, the one where, and because the voice, the mouth isn't moving, there's no facial expressions. That is what's really creepy about it.
Yeah.
And like even when he is just waking up, and he's like, "What is this?" and he's talking to Jarvis, like that is really creepy, that bit. Yeah, and he's saying that, like, oh, you're all toys and in strings, and it's it's really creepy. But then by the end of the film, like, he's got, his mouth is moving, like he can frown, and he's got too CGI, and I didn't. Yeah, and when he got even bigger in the end, I just thought, like, you're not scary.
No. In every scene I noticed, he grew about 6 inches. In every scene he disappeared and come back again. He was a little bit taller. And you're like, he's going to be like a Transformer soon.
He did actually look like
bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Well, this is why it made me laugh about, like, Tony Stark saying, that, like, have you been juicing? You're looking very puffy at the moment. It was, because he looked ridiculous by the end of it. I thought, like, the first bit, he should have kept, I mean, obviously, I think, they needed to show that he was strong, and, so they couldn't keep it in, like, the broken up Iron Man outfit, because, that's not right. But
he had to evolve.
If they had, like, left the face, so that it wouldn't move, and you could just hear the voice. I mean, you could tell when he was angry, because I think James Spader was fantastic. He voice acted Ultron just perfectly, and it just makes me laugh that he's always a bad guy. But I think it was absolutely, he was fantastic. I think they should have kept it very simple with his design, and not. Yeah, it shouldn't have made, because by the end of it, he was kind of human in a way. And I mean, I know that's what they wanted to point out, the fact that in the end, he
was a conscious being, wasn't he? Yeah,
and obviously that is what we all worry about with artificial intelligence, being self-aware, and, when he's talking to Vision, saying, he has remorse and kind of thing.
Oh, hang on, we're losing you a bit there, Jess.
What it actually means to be human, or
So we just lost you a little bit then.
Oh, sorry.
You just froze.
Oh, okay.
But you're saying he shows remorse, and he is. Yeah, basically he's turning into human.
Yeah, and I think by then he wasn't scary. He was just like, right, you've shown your weakness here, so.
Yeah, and he's defeatable. He wasn't a.
Yeah.
It's not like in the first Avengers when you had all of the Kroll coming down, and you had these great big things destroying the city, and you had Loki. You had like a threat, and it took all the Avengers and all they had to defeat him. Whereas, once again, going back to what you said at the very beginning, Ultron wasn't really the threat. No. It was not at all. They were the threat.
Yeah.
But they just so happened to team up with Ultron.
Yeah.
Which helped along the way. But
exactly.
You said before about Vision, I thought Vision was fantastic. I thought he looked superb.
Yeah.
And
so good.
Yeah, just perfect, I thought. And they nailed
that. I was so pleased with the fact that they kept Paul Bettany doing the Jarvis voice, and I loved it. I thought his representation of the character was just perfect. And I love the design as well. I like the fact that he still looks slightly human, but with
shiny.
I think it's just it's a big thing, obviously, bringing in Vision as well, because that links up to Guardians, and obviously I think in a way, actually, when I think about it now, Age of Ultron was it's a build up to Infinity Wars. Ultimately,
it's not linked to Civil War, really, is it? It's linked to Infinity Wars.
Yeah, because even at the end, Tony Stark is saying that. No, not Tony Stark. Thor is saying that we're being manipulated by a higher power, and then we have the post-credit scene, which is Thanos.
Yeah.
Just saying, right, I'll do this myself.
Just puts the glove underneath.
And I mean, as far as post-credit scenes go, although it was incredibly short, I thought that was short and sweet. It got right to the point.
Yeah.
And it just showed you that actually, yeah, it's not a build. It's a build up ultimately to that. Because, I mean, you get to even see the Infinity Orb from Guardians. You get to see all the stones.
Yeah.
And, in that vision. And it's, yeah. I thought, it's a nice build up for it.
Yeah, so he's going to be after Paul Vision soon.
I know, yeah.
Another one to look forward to, because that is the Infinity Wars. That's 2018, isn't it?
Yeah.
Infinity Wars. So we've still got because we've got Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well, which is I can only imagine is also going to be on the Infinity Wars.
Yeah, completely.
Story. Yeah, so we've got quite a feue things to look forward to, and we're almost out of time. So we're going to have to recap our Age of Ultron. Unless there's anything else you wanted to put in about it. Or you said about one thing, not really Age of Ultron, but obviously about your cup there, we could still just see Black Widow's head.
Yeah, I kind of had a bit of a rant on my cosplay page the other day. About the fact that I bought this, and the guy who served me said, we've only got like the Black Widow cups left, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was, people keep going on about how Black Widow is not like a big part of the team, but she holds it all together. Which is another thing we should talk about, Black Widow and Bruce Banner.
Yeah, what the...
Just what the hell?
That didn't need to be in there, I don't think. Unless they're going somewhere with that, which I don't think they are.
There's no need for it. As I've said before, I think that if they had kept it, really... if it hadn't been romantic and it was just a sheer appreciation of friendship, then it would have had so much more impact. But, But I think they wanted to show more of Black Widow, so... let's say Black Widow got her little insight into her life this time round, didn't it? As well as Hawkeye. Everyone's learnt a bit more about. Let's say people who just go to the films thought, "Why the hell is Hawkeye in this?" Yeah.
But now they've they've brought him a bit closer to everyone's hearts now as well. I think now.
And Hawkeye's awesome. Like, I love the Hawkeye comics. So, I know how good he is, but, to the rest of the world, they'll probably think Black Widow, Hawkeye, they don't have powers, but neither does Iron Man. He just has a lot of money.
And the suits.
Yeah, the suits, exactly. Enough money to make the suits.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they hold it all together because they aren't, as you were saying the other day, they are fighting among gods. And that's what makes it scary because, they are the normal ones, but they have to be to hold it all together. They have to bring a sense of normality to the team and bring it down to earth. So, I think they need to be in it. So,
absolutely. I think they are part of the team, and they always will be part of the team. But I wasn't too sure the other thing about Black Widow. I wasn't too sure about her new suit.
I like her new suit. I like it. I've got it here.
I thought it looked good. It looked fantastic, and I can imagine a lot of cosplayers now getting some neon strips and lighting their suits up.
It's really funny actually because my boyfriend was saying to me just before that it looks as if it should be in Tron.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It's a Tron suit. She's wearing a Tron suit.
It is.
My other quirk as well. She's meant to be, an assassin. She's meant to be, sort of a bit covert. Oh, there's our half an hour. But yeah, she's meant to be covert. She's meant to be sort of, ninja-esque. She's wearing a fucking light up suit. You can't hide in the shadows of that. I didn't see a switch anywhere on her that she could just turn the lights off. She's lighting up.
I think, the neon, it looked good, but I think that they should have made it not so obvious, maybe.
Practicality-wise, terrible suit. But for a film, it looked brilliant. I thought it did look.
Yeah, good. I mean, you could say that though, even about the fact that she wears like heels, you know. So, although they're like wedged ones, but yeah, they don't. It's not the most practical suit, and it made me laugh the fact that like during a few scenes, like she had cleavage on show, and I'm thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's
They're
all
going
for
to be
the
all
film.
over the place.
Yeah, but yeah. Apart from that, we're going to say I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5
Yeah.
result for that. I think it was definitely there. Definitely needed to be a story that needed to be told, and obviously a good sort of in betweeny now.
Yeah.
For the next stage. So I think
definitely.
they've covered all the characters. Thor, I don't think really needed to be in it.
No.
He just hung around in the background and.
He looked good. He looked good for the girls. Yeah.
He's
That's all
he's
he's
candy.
Forget Black Widow, it's Thor.
Yeah, that's it. All the women are like, you got Thor and Black Widow. That's it. Yeah. All sexes are happy then. Everyone's going to go watch the film. Thor, theoretically, he could have just threw his hammer once at Ultron at the beginning, and that would have been film over.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sort of think, come on, you're Thor.
Yeah.
But, little thing. But let's say they made it a good film. They made it, believable, enjoyable to watch. The humour in it was fantastic. That's one I was going to say about I forgot to mention last time, but so I'll mention this time round. Is the bit where Tony Stark flies into the building at the very beginning when they're looking for the scepter, and he goes, he sort of basically blows everyone up. He goes, he flies. He goes, let's talk about this, and then they will start shooting, so he just blows them all up, and then he goes, good talk, and then you hear one little voice go, no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
I just thought that was very Monty Python-esque. I thought the whole style of that, that just made me laugh. And I say, I went to the cinema on my own. I was the only person in the entire cinema because I went at a stupid time in the afternoon where everyone else was working. So yeah, that bit actually made me laugh out loud just because I thought that was it. It was the sort of thing you could see on a Monty Python sketch. It's just this little voice in the background. No, it wasn't.
I loved, and it was the same guy who, at the start of the film, he goes like, "They're the Avengers," though, like, trying to sort of say like we can't beat them. I think it's fantastic. I mean, it really stays true to the Marvel formula, which is in the comics. The humor is fantastic.
Yes. It is.
They've definitely got. If they get anything right, the humor is like down, and obviously Joss Whedon has. Like, he's written for Marvel, so he knows it.
He knows the score. He knows what he's doing. This ain't his first rodeo, is it? And when Tony Stark finds that door as well, secret door, please be a secret door, please be a secret door, yay! And he just walks in. You thought that's just so. Yeah. It's just Tony Stark. It's just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So they nailed that down to a T. But anyway, so that will wrap up our Age of Ultron chat. We've managed to get through this without giving away any major spoilers.
Yeah,
which is quite nice, I think. Because then for the people who haven't seen it, they might watch this, and we obviously said a few things that happened, but there's no big spoilers. They can still go to the cinema happy in the knowledge that we've not ruined it for them.
No, I'm quite. Like, I'm the kind of person who I don't care about spoilers, but I can imagine other people would be fairly butthurt if we revealed any sort of like major plot point.
Exactly. So we've scraped through and we've done it. Good job, Jess. Right. So thank you everybody for watching and listening to our personal views of Age of Ultron. And we would probably be back now for Ant-Man, I would have thought.
Definitely.
The next one, or anything else that takes our fancy. I want to do a Mad Max review, because I love Mad Max. So I'm going to go watch that. Sorry?
Yeah. What did you say, sorry?
Mad Max, that's out 2 weeks.
Oh, is it? Yeah. I've
So,
been seeing the trailers. I'm quite excited to see it.
It's nothing Marvel or geeky related, but it's Tom Hardy. It's going to be good. So, so anyway, we'll leave it at that. And thank you ever so much for watching, and thanks Jess for joining us again.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Right. Troop of Geeks.